Yeah. We're back for another podcast, and this is your boy EC22 in the house. I got Coach D-Way and my boy J-Dub, man. This is the FairWeather Fan channel, man. Please like, subscribe, share, join the conversation, leave comments, get engaged, all the above, man. Fellas, how the week has been going so far?
Jay?
No complaints. Just another good week. Staying warm up here in the north, enjoying sports, any chance I get, and just doing what I do.
I'm excited. Got my Christmas lights up, Christmas tree up, so 'tis the season, and getting
just now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm always late because I don't feel the season until it hits me. So.
Oh shoot, my wife, she feel it as soon as after Halloween, she throwing everything.
Yes,
same.
I don't deal with that, but hey, I respect people that do, and I like the little crisp, CRISP, crispness in the air down here in the South, and I know J-Dub's probably sick of feeling that kind of stuff up in his part of the world, but. How is the weather up there in Great Falls, Montana, Jay?
It's been good, or I'm adjusting. I don't know. The highs have been in the 40s, the lows have been in the mid 30s. So as long as it stays like that, I'm gonna make this transition very well.
Wow, y'all had a heat wave last week, didn't you?
Yeah, all the snow melted from our snowstorm, and all the roads are clear again. And we'll see how long it lasts. But they keep telling me it's unseasonably warm, and I keep telling them you're welcome, that I brought the heat with me from Texas.
Facts. I love it, man. Hey, let's get started, man. Listen, y'all know if J-Dub talked to us a couple weeks ago and last week a little bit about the Golden State Valkyries. They had their draft last week. I think it was Thursday. And man, Jay, what do you think about the draft? What grade would you give them starting off with the expansion team?
I think they did as good as they could. You know, everybody gets to lock their favorite players. First of all, big up E40 and Baron Davis for being the announcers, you know. Even Baron got a little joke in there. I know he's trying to be an actor in the whole nine, but I think they did good with the announcements. The Valkyries did good. I know they left a spot. They didn't pick somebody from Seattle so they could leave an open spot for them to be able to sign one of their free agents or one of their rookies. I think Timmy, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this lady's last name, Fagbini from Indiana. I think she's got a lot of weight on her shoulders being the veteran and being the defensive anchor, especially as the center. I know they drafted Kate Martin from the Aces, and hopefully she can come into her own as a guard. It's easy to be successful when you're playing with the Caitlin Clark in Iowa and when you're playing with the team full of stars at Las Vegas, but we get to see what she's going to do. Kayla Thornton was a good pickup. I think they got a team to be competitive in the bottom half of the league in their first season, if that makes sense, right? It's hard for an expansion team to, in any league, in any sport, it's hard for an expansion team to come in and have immediate success. I think they did good. I had a little hopes, you know. I don't know what Elena Delle Donne is doing, but I know Washington didn't lock her, so they could have got her and maybe hope she played next year. But from top to bottom, I think they did about as good as they could. I think they get the 5th pick in the draft. Y'all can check me on that one. I'm not 100% sure. And then we get to throw the ball up and see what these ladies can do. And then next year, don't forget, I know it's a long way off, but next year we got an expansion draft with 2 teams in it. The Toronto Tempo, I think is what their name is, and the Portland team who hadn't picked a name yet. As long as the sport keeps growing and the fans can keep supporting, now we're going to be up to 15 teams by the 2026 season. As long as the fans can keep supporting them and keep showing up, I think 15, 16 is going to be enough. If it keeps getting bigger, I think 20 is a lot and again, it's a young league, like we've said before. I think we got good things on the horizon, and now we got other players. I'm not trying to segue into another thing, but now we got other players in college starting to show out. You know, that
Yeah.
That tall girl from South Carolina, Chloe something, is starting to have a good season. And
Yeah.
The one thing you can't coach, is size and quick. Well, if these girls keep getting 6 foot to 6'4", we're gonna have a big league of ballers.
Absolutely.
And for all you subscribers, likers, people that follow and keep up and that say you are a sports fan and say that you love the sport of basketball and you haven't seen a women's professional basketball game yet, you need to put it on your bucket list. It needs to be a priority. It's great entertainment and you're going to be blown away.
The last pick I really like, just real quick, Veronica Burton. I think, man, if she can find her range, then she's going to really be able to score a bunch of points for a new team. She's young still. I think she's 23, 24 years old. She's a little undersized at like 5'10", but I like that pick a lot too. So again, I liked it, and I liked that it was quick. They weren't trying to horse around and take a lot of time and showboat a lot. I think they did 4 picks at a time, and I enjoyed it.
So the one thing I've been researching, and I guess I can't speak for the go.
Is that me? No, no, that's Eric. Okay, that's that Spectrum. That's that Spectrum. He's gonna say something about it. You watch.
Yeah.
You already said it, the Spectrum. So,
man, come on.
Listen. I've been fussing at them. Like,
you need to quit fussing and start cussing.
Maybe that's the next step. I'm gonna have to start letting them have it. But no. So they didn't want to have a lot of players under contract in this open draft that they had. So they wanted to really, really look into the real draft market to start getting some of these players. But they only got 3 players that are on contract out of the women that they chose. So they got a lot of free agents, people who have actually came to the league but didn't play. So they got a lot of wiggle room. They didn't get the big China girl I thought they was going to get. So
no, I thought they were too, truthfully.
Now you mentioned the Seattle Storm, and I was expecting, but I understand why I was expecting. If you guys don't know, with the Seattle Storm, there has been some controversy, some disruption over the Seattle Storm. Jewel Lloyd and a couple other ladies filed some petition. They filed some grievances towards the organization, saying there was some unfair treatment, some bullying stuff going on. And so, and then I'm thinking that's what she's trying to throw out there as a reason why she didn't play well towards the end of the season and in the postseason. She was a no-show. But I was expecting that since though Jewel Lloyd actually won out, she made a statement that she wanted to get out of Seattle. And I was thinking maybe this is one of the veterans they would have picked up. But they said they opted out because they didn't want to sign any lot of those long contract players. So I don't know. Would that be a good spot for Jewel Lloyd to go to an expansion team?
Man, I don't know. Especially, I'm not finna get on a horse or nothing, but I don't like people who tell you why they didn't play well.
I know,
so
right?
If you didn't play well, I get it. And there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of, sexism and racism and all that happens. I get it. But I don't want to hear about it. If that's your excuse, then I'm not sure I would have drafted you either. That's just me personally. I don't want you, even if it's not true, the fact that it's in the media, I don't want you bringing that to a new expansion team. That's just me if I was your general manager. So, I think they did a phenomenal job. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of young ladies coming out of the draft this year that are worth a draft pick. And I think the sky's the limit and things keep moving up and up.
Well, what I'm glad that didn't happen is that we've seen expansions and then we've seen teams move from city to city since the WNBA has been up since '96. But typically happens with an expansion team is a lot of times that one team comes in and another team goes out. Even though you're going to have the Detroit that'll move all the way to Dallas, or you have the Houston that'll move to Las Vegas. You're going to have those, but you have some of the other teams where you have this one team that come in and they fall out or whatever. But so I didn't want to see where Golden State was picking up superstar players. Before you know it, that team that superstar player once was tanks, and then they can't afford it no more. Then that team goes out. So the fact that they got a lot of these players that wasn't under contract, so they're going to build it up the right way. I think that was worth noting. And so I gave them the experts gave them a B-. I actually give them an A for their draft. I think they did it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
And just to piggyback on what you're saying, I didn't want them to see I didn't want to see them draft a bunch of older players. And we all know in sports, old is 30 in sports. And that's not life. That's running up and down a court, running up and down a field. So I was impressed that they took the tack that they're going to try to build it younger, right? Most of the players are in their 20s. I know they got a couple 30s, and we hope these veterans can keep these ladies on the right path. But I like the age grouping that they used. And again, I mean, in a league of 13 teams, everybody's a contender.
Right.
So all you need is, a streak of 10 or a streak of 7, and you're right back in the hunt for first place. And so that's why I'm always excited for WNBA, is because nobody's out until you're out.
Absolutely. I think their oldest player is Kayla Thornton. I think that may be the oldest player. She played some years in Dallas, and then she went on and did her tour. But yeah. Kayla, I remember she was in Dallas. She was a work in progress, to say the least, when she was in Dallas. But then she went and got with the team in New York, and she had some good minutes during the finals over there. So that's a good veteran leadership, somebody who just wanted Chip to come and lead start. We know she's not the starter, but that's something who bring championship pedigree to this new expansion team.
That's right.
So I've got a quick question for both of y'all.
Yes, sir.
And I know I don't want to talk about what was. I'm talking about what is and what the direction that they're going. With the direction and all the excitement, enthusiasm of the WNBA and the direction it's going, two questions. One, how long is it going to be for the city of Houston to say, man, we messed up? We've got to get a franchise here in this city. It's a massive city with lots of people. J-Dub knows that.
Yeah.
And then secondly, there's 15 teams now?
No, there's 13 teams now.
13 teams. And then again, for both of you guys, how much longer will it be until we're looking at a 18 or 20 team league?
So
to the fans.
Yeah, so that was the great segue, because I was gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna hit that real quick. So the future expansion teams is the real Caitlin Clark effect, and that's what I want people to know. Like, we're not hating on Caitlin Clark. The Caitlin Clark effect bring a lot of players. Bring a lot of fans, some bad, some good. But it wasn't just throwing all the attention on her to minimize what the league has been doing prior to her. But this is the effect that we hope when you get a player like Caitlin Clark, who brings a lot of visibility to her game. You're going to get teams. It's not even a year later. All of a sudden now,
even a year.
You're talking about, you got Golden State, who just did theirs. You got Colorado. You said, no, who that?
No, it's Toronto and Portland are next year.
Toronto and Portland going next year. And then just what you said, Coach D-Way, you got Philadelphia, Kansas City, as well as Houston, who already in negotiation talked about. Obviously, Houston had a franchise. They started one of the first forward, and they fell off, right? They moved that team to Las Vegas.
Back to back.
You know what I'm saying? But they're looking at restarting their franchise. You got talks in Philadelphia, Kansas, because they said they're tired of hearing all the Eagles stuff like that. And then Patrick Mahomes and his wife expressed interest in starting a WNBA team. So down in Kansas City. So I mean, the talk is out there. And go ahead, J-Dub.
And so Caitlin Clark was just knocking the door open. Right. But Juju Watkins, Paige Bookers, you got Hannah Hidalgo. There's the thing that Coach and I talked about when I saw him last was the thing about Caitlin and Angel Reese and Cardoza and all these girls that are doing it now, the youngsters in the game doing it now, is they're like the first generation of girls that this was always an option for them. They grew up always having this as their goal. So the classes that are still coming with Hannah and Juju and Paige, there's more of those coming behind them. This isn't the end. Caitlin is the beginning.
Right.
So Caitlin is the one that brought all the viewership, but we got 2, 3, 4, 5 classes that we can already sit here and talk about for the next 2-3 hours of young ladies coming. So as long as people are still interested, the product that we see on the court is just going to continually get better. That's why I consider Caitlin and Angel the Magic and Larry Bird. This rivalry that is bringing the country into this sport that most people, even though they knew about it, they didn't really know about it. So it's just going to keep getting bigger, or I hope it keeps getting bigger. Again, it's more basketball. The second y'all show me high school basketball on a regular on ESPN, I'm going to be into that too, and we can talk about that from now on.
Right. You brought up a good point. So I sat down and I read this interview that Caitlin Clark had today. And one thing she highlighted, it's funny because you said this last week. You said there's a difference between the ages, a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Caitlin made this comment. She's saying that no disrespect to college hoops. She said, but the professional women IQ is so much better. Mm-hmm. And she said, looking at the way she was guarded this year, she said, looking back how she had her 4 years in Iowa, she said, it's almost like it was disrespectful how they didn't guard her, how they didn't trap her. You know what I'm saying? And she said the IQ just wasn't there. And she said it wasn't a knock to the girls, but she said a lot of these women know that this is their last time playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So that extra carriage is not there. You know, they're there for the fun, for the moment. But a lot of these teams, you know, they know they're not going to the WNBA. They know that window is small because there's only a few teams. But now what this does is now that you open it up and get more teams out there, it opens up that avenue for a lot more women to go off and take the game a little bit more seriously. Just like you said, you have the Juju Watkins, you have the Paige Beckhams, all these young ladies that are coming up, and it's bringing a lot of that energy. So, I mean, look, we're watching Juju Watson, and she's just a sophomore now.
She's a sophomore. She just dropped 40. Like,
you know, so it's like we're getting them early now. You know, so the grassroots effort is starting to pay off to make this league what it is.
And the exposure's been huge too.
Absolutely,
I mean, obviously
absolutely.
You
and we all back to your original comment. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. If Caitlin brought exposure, this is what I said 2 months ago on the If Caitlin brought exposure, then we should be praising her for whatever she is or isn't. If she brought exposure, then she is. Then she deserves the credit for that.
Absolutely. So real quick, let's touch on the unrivaled 3-on-3 league with the women and what this does. For those you don't know, so Phenisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, so they decided they wanted to keep the women from having to go overseas. And Phenisa Collier said in an interview so eloquently, she said, you know, you go overseas, you're going to make the money, but you're so lonely. You don't have your family over there. You don't know the coach. You don't know language. It's like you're in a bubble. And for months and months at a time, it's so lonely. So now they're trying to have this avenue to where during the off season, they're going to try to keep women stateside to play in this 3-on-3 league. And I think it's phenomenal. And the way it works is that each woman in this league is going to have a stake in the league. Mm-hmm. So as the league grows, the money goes right back to the young ladies, and they're looking at hopefully that where these women can make the 6-figure incomes doing this league. So that's awesome for what they was able to put out there. And I'm talking to myself. Are you guys, I don't froze up again. Yeah.
No,
you good.
Oh, okay, y'all guys still.
I'm listening, bro. I'm listening.
Well, y'all should have yelled like about no, but seriously. So I love what she's doing. Obviously, there are some players who opt in, some players who opt out. There's only a few teams out there, so but it's going to be real cool. What do you think about that, J-Dub?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's 26 players right now. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 26. They are trying to fill the gap. What's the WNBA season? 45 games? 40 games?
45, 40, yeah.
Something like that. So they're trying to fill the gap, and it's all based on viewership. Do we think if the WNBA goes to an 82-game season that runs from August to June that we're going to still have the unrivaled? No. But we're trying to grow viewership. We're trying to grow fans. We're trying to give people somebody to root for. Find your player and root for her team. I think it's a great idea. It's crazy because the ultimate goal is for you to be so successful that your league dwindles away because your other league, your full-time job takes over and you don't have time to do this league anymore. But if we can get, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons, where the thing I'm most excited for of all of it is the one-on-one tournament where the winner gets a prize. I don't know what the prize is. I want to say like $50,000 or $100,000. That's what I cannot wait for the one-on-one tournament. I wish the NBA had a one-on-one tournament during the All-Star game.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Do you know how many people would view in to see what Joker does against Ja Morant, or what Luka Doncic does to stop LeBron James, or who is going to guard Victor Wembanyama? I mean, I think that's a phenomenal idea. I want other leagues to take note of what they're doing and do the same thing. As a sports fan, not as a GM, because I can see as a GM that's going to be a problem. But as a sports fan, I want all the one-on-one tournaments I can get.
Right. I'm going to tell you right now, I know that the NBA players, more than likely, they don't want this because these guys, they don't want to get exposed. And they're not going to take those games seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think women would take it hard serious. These women women don't like to lose. I don't care if they're playing checkers, with a 5-year-old. They're going to flip the table over, So
odds-on favorite has to be Nafisa Collier versus Asia Wilson in the final. Doesn't it have to be?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the teams you have the Laces, the Lunar Owls, you have the Miss, the Vinyls, Phantoms, and the Roses. I love those names. So real quick, the Laces, they have Stephanie Dawson, Lexi Hall, great shooter, Kayla McBride, Elisa Thompson, Courtney Williams, and then they got their head coach. They still got a spot open. The Lunar, they have Shakira Austin, Natasha Cloud, Nafisa Collier, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Alicia Gray, Kate Martin. That's a tough squad right there. The Miss have Dejanay Carrington, Aaliyah Edwards, Rakia Jackson, Jewel Lloyd, Brianna Stewart, Courtney Vandersloot. Good God.
That's a squad.
The Phantom have Brittany Griner, Tiffany Hayes, Marina Marbury, Satu Sabali, Jackie Young, and they still got a spot open. The Rosa has Kalia Copper, Chelsea. How did we get those two on the same squad? Angel Reese, Azura Stewart, and Brittany Stiles, and they have a spot open. And the Vanna have Aaliyah Boston, Rhea Burrow, Jordan Canada, Derek Hamby, Rain Howard, Arika Gumu. Oh, God, no. They got Rain.
I ain't even seen the rosters yet, so you a step ahead of me on this one.
Oh, man, they got Arika and Rain playing on the same. Ooh, that's going to be tough. But yeah, and like I said, a couple of teams they're still waiting on some ladies to go ahead and opt in. So they think they may got three spots available. So they can go ahead and close the thing up, and it starts in January, people. Yeah.
And before I forget, need to tell both you guys, as director of community relations and the head publicist and head of the street team for the Nafisa Collier fan club, y'all really need to clear it talking about her with me first before you start throwing her name out there.
You wouldn't even know about her if it wasn't for us.
That's all I got to say about that.
Tell him again, J-Dub.
You wouldn't even know her name or how to pronounce it properly if it wasn't for us too.
Oh man, let's jump into NCAA. This is I don't know how long this is going to take up the show, but man, this NC, we all seen it. It came out Sunday. I was glued to the TV and I hollered. I
watched your little podcast over it.
Yeah, I was gonna try to wait till today. I can't. I just jumped on for a little bit, just kind of get my quick reaction, man. But I was just so super excited about the way this thing turned out, man. I was excited about it. I'm just, I couldn't wait. I just couldn't.
What were you so excited about? What was the most exciting thing for you, EC? Did we lose him? We lost him again, Jay.
I just think he was excited about the no 3 lost teams. The
look at him grinning like a freaking possum over there.
But they spread out. They spread out the positions to multiple conferences in general. I think for a first year with lots of wrinkles and lots of bugs, I think all the people complaining need to remember the complaints from 10 years ago when it was 2 teams. Okay.
Yeah.
At least now we get to see these conferences go against each other. There's no conference matchups in the first round. Or wait, no, right. There's no conference matchups in the first round. So these teams haven't seen each other. We're going to see what the ACC does against the SEC. We're going to see what the Big Ten does against the SEC. So there's a lot of people complaining and griping, and I get it. There are probably some better teams than the 12 that made it in, but this is the first year of a new system, and there was a bunch of realignments amongst the conferences. I think it's only going to get better. I think this is a vast improvement over what we had, even if there's some problems along the way.
So there's always going to be a few glitches, especially the first year. But I don't agree or disagree. I think these are the best of the group. Yeah, some people can complain, my team didn't get in, this team's better than that team. But as the whole group of 12, these are the best 12 from what I've seen. I mean,
I agree.
EC?
No, I agree. So when I'm looking at this rankings, the one thing I wanted people to at least hear my perspective and what I'm trying and what I've been saying is that I'm not griping or hating against a certain team, but the problem is that there has been more complaints, just like J-Dub said, when it came down to just 2 teams. Then we had the 4 teams. So there's always been a complaint. Now you open it up to a 12 team. First of all, nobody's going to be fully satisfied, especially if your team didn't get in, right? But when you look at the way, when you got to get down to 2 teams to play it, it's going to be a lot of politics involved because it has to be, because you want that last game to be the best game. And then when you go to the 4-man team, obviously you try to open up a little bit more, but still politics. 12 elite, it's still politics, but you leave it up room for more teams and more conferences to see their team get in there. And that's what J-Dub was saying, that you open up to more conferences, and that's all we was. Now, I wasn't expecting Boise State, Mountain West to make a first-round bye. That caught me completely by surprise, but they did.
That's a little iffy. I'm not saying Boise State shouldn't be there, but they should probably be playing in the first round. But again, these wrinkles are going to get ironed out. There's people smarter than us looking at this every single day. That's their job to look at this.
And EC, J-Dub and I had the conversation a couple of days ago. These are in my humble opinion, these are the best 12 teams.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, they don't have it right as far as who's where.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that's another conversation for another day.
Right. And let's talk about it real quick. So I'm excited that Big 12 made it in. And I wanted Big 12 to get a first round bye. But when I'm looking at Arizona State and Iowa was like non-existent whole season long. It was coming down to BYU and to get it up in there. And all of a sudden they lose out, and then boom, now Arizona State. Is that the team? Because if I believe if BYU would have made it all the way and won the conference championship or made it to the conference championship loss, even if Colorado would have made it, Big 12 probably wouldn't have been sitting at his number 4 spot. But Arizona came out of nowhere and they did their thing. They got all eyes watching on them. People started watching on them. So great job. Texas is number 5. I think that's a fair spot for them. The fact that you got Texas and Clemson in there says a lot. And then when it came down to, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Everybody's still upset about Alabama. And I think some upset about Miami as well.
I'm a little hurt about Miami personally, but that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah. D-Way, your Nittany Lions made it in. So
this is what I think I'm most excited about. Okay. We're getting ready to see the cream is going to rise to the top.
Yeah.
And there's some teams in the top 12 that I think are not very good. And so they're either going to prove me wrong or they're going to prove me right. And I'm excited to see how that's going to play out.
And this is also going to change recruiting and commitment, because now that high school blue chip athletes know they can go to other schools to make the playoff, to get more exposure, to increase their draft stock.
Absolutely.
They're not all going to go to the SEC. They're not going to all go to Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Texas. They're going to start going to other places to get more exposure. So the effects of this aren't going to be seen for at least 4 years, until this year's freshmen are gone.
But
again, it is a vast improvement. I don't know if y'all, I'm sure y'all watched it. Arizona State did their thing in the Big 12 championship.
woo,
That
mercy.
looked like a squad. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here finna make no bold claims that they're going to be in the championship game, but they look like they deserve to be there. Absolutely.
And that's why I say it was that game alone that got everybody to watch. Like, man, let's get this team in the first round bye. That was the team. Everybody like they saw. Hey, I got a guest joining me today, man. We got a professor from Faith Talk. Professor, what's up, my brother? From Faith Sports Talk Radio over in the house, man. What's happening on? He joining us, man. What's going on, brother?
What's good? What's good? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Yeah, this is the guy. I know I joined this podcast at 7:00, so we'll be jumping over there. But we're just talking about that bracket real quick, Lou. You got any comments about? I know you do. I know you want to say something for your show, but man, let me ask you this question. The question we have right now: which team deserves to be upset for a non-selection in the College 12 team? If you think of any, you think deserve to be upset?
Deserves to be upset. Oh,
or if any.
Yeah, I mean, we could go around the panel too and ask everybody to give one school
Yeah.
that they think. I mean, we said Miami. I mean, Colorado kind of shot themselves in the foot.
They 3 losses did them.
Yeah.
But just real quick, and then y'all all give your teams. I don't care who's upset. I do not care. We're talking about the 13th team, the 14th team, the 15th team is upset. I don't think you have an argument. If you were the 5th team, you had an argument. If you're the 3rd seeded team back in the day, you had an argument. The 13th seeded team, I don't care if you're upset. I don't want to hear your complaint. If you would have played better during the season to get into the top 12, you would be here right now. Or if you're close. Yeah. I know there's some controversy about conferences and yada, 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 but in the general sense of things, if you were a top 10 team for most of the season, you're in the playoff. Fact. Am I wrong?
You're right. You're right.
So I don't want to hear about a complaint. I don't want, even though I wanted Miami in there, I don't want to hear Miami's complaint.
Right. And so, because everybody had a chance. If you were in the top 20, whoever those other 8 schools are, which we won't go into that, all those 8 schools at some point had a chance to be here now if they would have taken care of business on the football field, right or wrong.
So no, you're right. But I want to get Lou's opinion on this because J-Dub made a powerful comment 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to throw this at Lou. We were talking about the SEC because Nick Saban, the day before they make the selection, he said, what J-Dub just said, nobody should complain. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear anybody complaining, and that's why it said on Sunday. Then he turned around after the selection was made, we're not going to take strength of schedule into account. So there's one team that people have been thrown out there, and it's the Alabama Crimson Tide. Do you feel by their schedule they deserve to be in this 12-team playoff?
Absolutely not. And I'm going to say that because I think their most embarrassing loss this year was Vanderbilt, followed by being blown out by Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Yes, you were 3-1 against top 25 teams, but the games that you were expected to win, not only you lost, you got beat. You got whooped.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't think people saw that? It's just and fighting for SMU. Their only 2 losses were against teams that they barely lost to. And the week 2 loss against BYU, we were still trying to determine that Preston Stone or Kevin Jennings was going to be the full-time starter. So let's not even talk about BYU. And SMU, despite that loss 15-10, playing with 2 quarterbacks. Right. And then, of course, we lost against Clemson in the final seconds, but they fought their butts off. You cannot say that in a game that SMU has played that they lost in an embarrassing fashion the way the Alabama Crimson Tide did. Not only once, Vanderbilt, but twice, Oklahoma. So, no. The Alabama
it's funny you say that because we talked about it like everybody – I saw the message you sent out there saying that, SMU are 0-3 against top 25 team. But for those viewers out there watching, I want you guys to remember, I said it on Sunday, that Pittsburgh was ranked when they played SMU. After SMU beat Pittsburgh, they became unranked. So there are a lot of teams that Alabama, the SMU beat. And I think it was another team they played that was ranked early in the season, became unranked later on in the season. But that's just how it rolls. That's just what that is. So I don't want people to complain. But I just threw it out there. Hey, if anybody deserves to be upset, so we all agree that nobody deserves to be upset. Are we okay with that? I think we good.
We good. Move it on. Move it on.
Move it on.
I like what Lou said, because Alabama, if they win both those games that they should have won, Lou,
Absolutely.
then we're not even having this conversation.
Talking about this thing.
Right.
Yes. And so, but the other thing I'm going to say about is there are some teams, I'm looking at the bracket, that I don't think are that good. And we're fixing to find out. Okay. We're fixing to find out, if they are or if they're not. Okay. And so
Lou, to give you the backstory, D-Way has been strong on the big conferences, the Big Tens and in the SEC. So there are some teams I know that are not there are some teams I know the teams he's talking about that he feel are not good teams. So we're not going. I already know. I already know we're teams. Let's move on to the NBA. NFL real quick. But no, let's start NBA real quick. Shout out to the Dallas Mavericks. We're repping. Man, they've been on fire. You say won 7 straight games, D-Way?
7 straight.
And Lou, Jonathan has been texting me every single game they win.
Boy.
And he said that the Dallas Mavericks will win the NBA championship. I was like, okay, G, it's still too early to tell. But he's been texting me, and guess what? I haven't responded on his text. So, G, if you're watching, I did it on purpose. That may be him in the comments section. Let's go to the comments real quick. Okay. Jonathan G, he's already in the comment section at work just here. Go Pony Express. I appreciate it. Let's go, Mavs. So he's already.
The thing that's most intriguing about the Mavericks is what they've done down this stretch without Luka.
Yes.
That's interesting that they've kind of played a little better together without him in the lineup.
And they need to. They need to play better without him in the lineup. But you still need Luka. He brings a dynamic to the team that they need, because he is not going to give up. I've seen times where Kyrie take breaks. We know. We don't need that. He said this team is deep, Jonathan. But moving on to the NFL, man. Listen, I wonder if there's any games you got.
Oh, he froze.
Oh, he's been freezing off and on here a little bit.
He's been freezing? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he's got that spectrum or whatever it is. Come on, EC, get back with us.
I'm coming back, man.
There you go.
There we go. Hey, let's talk about this team, this game, the Packers and Lions. Did y'all see that game, the Packers and the Lions?
Yes, I
Every
did.
snap.
Yes, you said what, J-Dub?
Every snap.
So I will start with you, J-Dub. Give your thoughts on this game right here, man. That was a good game. Close game, good game.
It was a great game. I think it ended. Man, I hate endings like that. But when you're the home team and you get the ball last, they did the right thing. That 4th down call was what Dan Campbell should have did, and everything worked out the way it should have had. But it's easy to make risky calls when you're tied, right? And I'm not trying to belittle anything you did, but if you don't make it, then you still got 20 to 30 yards to go till the other team has a kicker, so you can make this risky call with overtime as an option. But They made it and they won. And Detroit is the best team in the NFL right now. 14 weeks in, or however many weeks we're in now, they're the best team. But I think the Packers proved my point last week that the Packers are a contender. The Packers aren't pushovers.
Oh, yeah.
The Packers defensive line had a great game. Jordan Love started slow, but he ended up doing better than Jared Goff in the second half. So I think it was everything we wanted it to be from 2 NFC contenders. And they're in the same division, so it's going to be crazy when we see these two teams face off each other in the playoffs. I think it was a game most fans needed, especially on a Thursday night when it's the only game on.
Yeah. Lou, you got any comments on that Green Bay and Lions game?
Yeah, all I basically have to say is that Jared Goff is having a season of the ages, considering his. Here you go. I know you look considering his background going all the way back to the Rams when he was drafted, and
Absolutely.
the fact that Detroit is finally here, because we've been saying for years, ever since the '92 Lions, and when the Lions beat the Cowboys in Aikman's third or fourth season, ever since then, after Barry Sanders there retired, I'm actually glad to see the Lions back in the fold for 2 years straight. They're the different team that we need to see, that we're kind of pulling for, because they haven't won since the 50s. But Green Bay, on the other hand, Jordan Love, he's not throwing as many picks. It was a real tight game, but I will say this: Detroit now is the real deal, and they're playing well without the best player on the team.
Aikman gone.
The dude has been gone, and they're still playing top football. Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. Good God, that man, touchdown machine. He's a touchdown machine, and then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Tim Patrick. Are you kidding me? This dude comes out of nowhere and just start catching touchdown passes. Man, it seems like Detroit is finally making the right moves. They're making the Cowboys look bad. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and now I won't be. Their only inferior opponent in their way, I think, is the Eagles. And even if you play them teams in a neutral field, I think Detroit beats the Eagles. That's how Detroit is. Shout out to Dan Campbell. And I said from the very beginning, when they hired him, and I saw his energy, I said, man, this dude, he already looks jacked as it is, but he just had this energy, man.
Yeah.
He's no holds bar. He's gonna go for fourth down. He's gonna let you know he's gonna go for fourth down. Everybody in the world knows when he gets to the red zone, he fails on third down around the 35, 30-yard line. Yeah, he's going for fourth down, and half the time he makes it. That's the type of football people would love to see, even though he's. But the fact that he's risking like that, along with being one of the best now NFL head coaches in the league, who would want to pull for Detroit? And I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm glad to see the Lions playing that they are. But going back to the question, I said this last week: Packers and Lions every single freaking year in the NFC North. When those two teams play, whether it's in Detroit or Green Bay, it's always tight, no matter what the records say. And it was proven again in the last game. It was down to the last possession.
That's that game. D-Way, I'm gonna give you this game right here. I want you to talk about it. You already know what game I'm about to pull up. Since we talking about quarterbacks and Hall of MVP status, Bills and the Rams.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! First of all,
J-Dub, what was that?
6 touchdowns by a quarterback. That boy stamped his MVP season. I'm not saying he's gonna win, but golly, that's crazy.
Let me say to D-Way before you say this was the best looking loss I ever seen in football ever. I've never seen my
number one.
And I like what Lewis said about Goff and the season he's having, first of all. But I'm going to say something, okay, guys? The quarterbacks, the elite group of quarterbacks, that group, we don't have to name them. We're fixing to talk about 2 of them in this game. The quarterbacks are having a phenomenal year. The big name guys are. You know, the Joe Burrows and the Josh Allens and the Jalen Hurtses and the Goffs and the Matt Staffords and the Mahomeses and Jordan Love. It's Lamar Jackson. It's off the hook this year, man.
Everybody besides Dak is having a good year.
Yeah, everybody. Don't say Dak again.
But what a great game to watch. Because you know you weren't rooting against. I wasn't rooting against either team. I love me some Josh Allen. I love me some Matt Stafford. I love that Bills Mafia. I love the whole Rams organization and their receivers. And I was just super excited to sit there and watch a great football game. 2 heavyweights, Stafford and Josh, just freaking battling it out. And it was great. And I'd have been perfectly fine the outcome of that game.
Yeah, I obviously, you know, y'all know I'm a Josh Allen fan, but then I was also Luna on his podcast. I predicted that the Rams would win that division way before the season started. And Seattle has been playing like crazy. I mean, I mean, so I still think now that the Rams are the better team in that division over there. So, I mean, unfortunately, 49ers are sitting at the dead last spot. It's still a close race, though. I mean, you're talking.
The Rams got it going on. They're moving in the right direction.
The Rams got it going on, and they are still well in contention. And just to back up Lou on something, it's crazy. Jared Goff is 30 years old, which is that sweet spot for intelligence and athleticism, especially at the quarterback position, to be doing all the right things. Eric, I was just trying to fill space. You go back.
You did a good job. Keep going.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. So and I felt bad the way Jared Goff got out of LA. He goes to the Super Bowl, he gets traded. It was the right thing for LA. I get it. I'm not hating on that, but so I'm pulling for Jared just because he got hosed in that situation. I feel like, and at 30 years old, he's doing all the things he needs to be doing. So, again, back to the topic at hand.
Yeah,
I was just looking at their when I made this prediction, I was looking at the Rams roster, saying with the merger of Kyron Williams last year. Then you're looking at the Tutus and the Puka Nakuas and them guys over there, how they've been playing. They just got another guy they found in the past game this past week. And so they got a monster squad over there. And I've always given Sean McVay a tough go, for a lot of different reasons, maybe some personal reason, whatever. But I've given him a tough go. And I'm froze up again. Oh no, I'm not. But
no,
but I think he is coaching his tail off. He's doing the best he can with this squad.
Amen.
And the one thing that you love to see players buy into it, And that's the biggest difference that Lou talked about when it came down to Dave Campbell. The first couple of seasons they had as a coach, that he was there was a losing team, but he had it. You don't really get players to buy into your franchise when you're a losing squad, especially multiple years. But they bought into his way of doing things, and look at them right now. He said, "Trust me," and they trusted him, and boom, this is the result that you get out. And this is what I'm saying with Sean McVay. You know what I'm saying? They when they won a Super Bowl, they was giving all the players they had goddamn Odell on that squad. So they won that Super Bowl in their own home stadium. But man, I think this is a real good squad, and just Bills, man, just they found a way to get everybody involved. You know what I'm saying? Amari Cooper is playing better. Josh Allen just killed 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. The first time a quarterback has ever done that.
And wait. I want to hear what Lou's finna say, but he did it in the week after he was the first quarterback to run one, pass one, and catch one.
Yeah. So it's like, well, what else we gonna get from Josh Allen?
I'm just saying, this man keeps breaking records every week. They got to give it to him eventually.
Yeah.
So this poses the question. We all saw the McVay-Goff relationship and how it fractured.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Goff goes to Detroit. You're now seeing what he's doing. Stafford comes to the Rams, gives them their first Super Bowl his first year there. Stafford's still with the Rams. Goff is still with the Lions. So my question is, what was it that McVay felt like he saw in Stafford that he couldn't get out of Goff, considering that Goff is playing high-level football with Detroit?
That was my problem. That was my personal problem that I had with McVay, because I didn't like the way that situation went down. Now, I wasn't during that time when they had Goff over there. Obviously, I was hating against them because I wanted other teams to win. But then watching how it went down, I didn't quite understand it. And then what made me hate him more is when Dan Campbell turned around and got him and said, "Hey, you know what? This is the best quarterback in the league." And you're talking about, we got Patrick Mahomes, you got Lamar Jackson, you got all these other great. But Dan Campbell stood 10-toe down. He said he don't care what happened in L.A. or wherever the team they came from before he went to L.A. But St. Louis, he said, but this is the best quarterback in the NFL. And he took a chance on it. And then whatever Dan Campbell saw, I don't know what Dan Campbell, I don't know what he saw. But he saw something. He saw something that the whole league was saying didn't see.
Well,
because a lot of people
what was the other way around? What did McVay see in Stafford that he felt like he couldn't get from Goff, considering what Goff was doing in Detroit now?
Yeah. I'm going to take that one, EC. Okay. I'm going to take that one.
Go ahead.
Stafford has a certain air of leadership. Yeah. He has a certain air about himself in a good way. Goff doesn't appear to have an outgoing personality or a big personality, and Stafford is just kind of a guy that comes in and calms the ship. Everybody believes in him. He's real confident, and I think McVay was impressed with his leadership, Lewis. I think he was impressed with his maturity and his experience. And Goff got a bad deal, but in hindsight, Goff is where he's supposed to be and doing what he's supposed to be doing, and so let's also remember winning a Super Bowl this year.
And so let's also remember that this was like 7 years ago. Am I close to the mark? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
you got a 23-year-old Goff versus a 30-year-old Goff. There is a lot of, especially at the NFL level, there's a lot of high-level IQ that maybe, I wasn't in a room, but maybe Goff didn't have at the moment, that McVay wanted a guy that knew how to do what he was asking to do right now. And he didn't want to bring Goff along. He wanted to win right now. You got the two best defenders in the NFL at the time. We don't want a quarterback that's not going to know what I want him to do. The relationship between the head coach in the NFL and the starting quarterback is unlike any other relationship in sports. He is the on-field representation of your system. And, I mean, again, I felt bad for Goff, but when Matthew Stafford comes in there and wins a Super Bowl in his first year, McVay obviously was right for the short term to have an older, aging starting quarterback versus a new starting quarterback. So,
and I didn't like that, J-Dub.
I didn't either, but it worked. So how are we going to sit here and say we don't like it, but they still got the ring?
Yeah, it worked for them, and I didn't like it because you're talking about here you have, I'm from Jared Goff's perspective, I have a head coach that while I'm playing, and this is the reason why I'm a fan of Derek Carr as well for the same reason. I have a coach that while I'm playing on the squad, you're actively looking for a replacement for me because you are not working, and that doesn't give me no confidence. And there's certain quarterbacks that's untouchable, like the Patrick Mahomes and all them other too. So you're looking to actively make Stafford was with the Detroit Lions, a team you could touch because they're losing. And so you're looking and because you're part of the McVay family that you can actually make this move if you want to, right? And so nobody questioned the trade because you're looking at, okay, they got Jared Goff over here and over here in the Rams, he's not doing well. The Detroit Lions ain't doing well.
And he lost the Super Bowl. Let's remember that. They're going to blame it on him.
He's going to blame you lost the Super Bowl, and then you make that switch. So it's just like, it is what it is. That's what happens. And that's the reason why I didn't like him. But then I sat back and I watched it happen. I'm like, you know what? But then I started loving him more because I'm just like, everybody don't get that opportunity to handpick the guy they want. They come to get him back to the place and win a Super Bowl. And then when I'm looking, once Dan Campbell was able to savage Goff's career, I'm like, okay, now I'm okay. I'm okay. Guess what Dan Campbell said? I'll take him, and I'm gonna make this guy a superstar. Go ahead.
Just two more things, and we'll move. One, we could have the same conversation. We won't about Russell Wilson from Denver to Pittsburgh. He went from being the biggest GOAT and worst quarterback in the league to being, again, he looks like he's in his an early 20-year-old guy right out of college.
I still don't understand Pittsburgh right now.
That's just bombing people, okay? But this is what last thing I'm going to say about this conversation. The best thing that Dan Campbell has done for the Detroit Lions is when he publicly endorsed Jared Goff as his quarterback, his guy, and that he was going to take them to the next level. And when he stamped Goff with that, the team jumped on board.
Yeah. So we're running out of time. So because we got to get to Lewis podcast, but we got six minutes. So real quick, I'm going to throw these out there. I want to talk about the Chiefs and the Chargers, but obviously they're same division. Nobody picked the Chargers to win. But once again, guys, we've been talking about it. We don't know how in the world that these Chiefs get this mojo. You got a doink to win the fit. I don't know. That's weird.
They made a deal with devil, son.
They got a golden horseshoe stuck.
Something going on. And I had to bring this game up. We knew the Eagles were going to beat the Panthers, but the Panthers fought hard. They're not a fluke. We saw how they gave Kansas City a hard time. Now they're giving the Eagles a hard time. This team is a team to keep an eye on. I'm not going to say they're going to be winning Super Bowls here anytime soon, but they are not giving up. They came to fight, and they're looking like a completely different team. So they're a few pieces away. But the one we really want to talk about is the Simpsons games last night.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
The Cowboys are the big
boy. They every week they come up with a different way to lose a football game, man.
They win with special teams, and they showed that they can lose with special teams.
Hey, God, if y'all see that guy on the screen right there, do he look anything like me? That guy right there,
Big D, the Barber Curtis.
Y'all, he don't look nothing like me, but that is my twin brother. Man, Lou already knows the side.
He's a whole lot better looking than you are, EC.
God, that's so disrespectful. Derek, you heard that? That's a bunch of bull. Don't listen to D-Way. He delusional.
Big DC got it going on.
But him and Jonathan, they're still talking about the marriage. And Jonathan G talking about the midseason trade with Jimmy Butler guarantees a trophy. Lou, is that a thing?
Let's have that, GG.
Is that a thing?
It's possible. They're shopping him, and he only wants to go to either Texas team or somebody who's going to compete this year, is his own words.
He needs to be in Dallas or New York.
Well, he's a Houston boy, and Houston's on the rise. It's still early. We got 60 games to go, but he wants to be in Texas, or he wants to be somebody who's going to compete this year.
Man, he'd be such a good man.
We'll see. But yeah, Cowboys, who wants to take a stab at this game? First of all, did anybody pick the Cowboys to win this game? Lou, I don't think nobody picked Cowboys to win from we thought it was going to be a blowout.
No. Everybody picked Cincinnati. Everybody.
So let me ask you this, Lou. So why are people upset that they lost? If nobody picked them to win, why are folks still tripping that they lost? Is it the way they lost or what?
I didn't know people still upset. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's news to me.
Upset. Yeah. He said, "No, that guts our team takes our." I don't know what he's talking about there. He said,
talking about the trade.
Oh, the trade. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of folks who've been slamming on social media. They're upset. Well, they're mostly upset about the way they lost, with saying the guy touching the football and he should have not touched it to give the Cowboy a chance to come back and have the ball last. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. If they would have had that ball and they would have won it, nobody would predict it. So regardless of how they lost, nobody predicted them to win. And I know that was a chance we could have won against a good team, but you didn't. So I don't know why folks are tripping. Let's see what John got to say. He said, it's the way they lost on a special teams blunder. See, yeah.
And man, I'm not trying to defend no Cowboy loss, but let me defend that young man who touched the ball. You're in a live game situation and the ball's coming to you. What do you do? Do you lay down? Do you get out of the way, or do you try to catch it?
I agree, Jay. I agree with everything you're saying right now.
So he didn't catch it, and now we can make fun of him, but I can't sit here and say I wouldn't have done the same thing. I just hope I would have caught the damn thing on the way to, it's hard. It's hard, but they lost on a special teams on a game they weren't even supposed to be in. So I think Michael Parsons overreacting and crying on the sideline, but I get it. Yeah. You an elite athlete, and y'all can't find a way to win a game. And again, y'all made me talk about the Cowboys more than I wanted to even today.
I said it last week, and I'll say it this week. I'll take Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase anytime, anywhere, any day against anybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Lou, so let's see what Jerron got to say. Jerron is saying, move out the way.
Yeah, I guess. And it's easy for us to say that on a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you, Jerron. Yeah. I agree with you. But, man, that's a hard decision.
It's a hard decision.
You got a split second to make it.
Because if he would have caught the ball, he would have been the savior of the team.
Yeah.
So it's different. But Lou tag name is the professor. So speaking of in a professional setting, how do you rate Michael Parsons' attitude at the end of the game? Is that passion or is that just childlike behavior?
It's zero. That was petty as you can get. Michael Parsons knows better than that. He did on Monday Night Football, and he came back and say, what did he say after the game? I think he was upset about that blunder because you saw him on the sidelines. The camera was on his face, and he was like, man. I read his lips. He like, bruh. He like, man. And he just stormed off the field. I'm like, that's not how you behave, man. Come on, man. Come on. We could do better than that, man.
Now he's a young man. Joran said that's just being pissed. So obviously he's upset. And we look at these guys as juggernauts and giants and titans because they're playing a sport and they're playing in a way that we can't play, right? But at the same time, these guys are sub 30-year-olds, right? They're younger men. They're not children, but they're younger men. Do they get a pass for the emotional outbursts as being young adults?
They're still professional athletes. They sign up for it. You're getting paid like one. And at the end of the day, you are a professional athlete. Hence the word professional. You ought to act, even though we're not really seeing that with most players, but your job title is professional athlete. Behave like one. And he didn't do that night. I was very surprised he behaved like that. I knew the loss stung a little bit, but he did that on Monday Night Football when the lights were the brightest. And that's right. That's what he said. He said, I can't believe we lost the way we did on Monday Night Football. That's exactly what he said. I'm going to feel like, but you still a professional athlete. So
my brother, he's a football coach for the young adult league and stuff like that. He got his own 707 Slime Elite. So big shout out to Slime Elite football, man. 707 tournament, man. Those guys are doing some great things over at Slime Elite, man. Check them out on Facebook if you get a chance. But Big D said, in the heat of the moment, playing all out emotions involved. Absolutely, but that still doesn't give him a pass. I mean, this is stuff, like Lou said, you train children from the younger. Derek, you got kids that you're training right now. You know what I'm saying? That are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, training them to keep their emotions in check. And then as you go up through middle school and high school and definitely in college, you're trained to keep in check. Now, we see the fights and the outbursts and stuff like that. Obviously, we saw this last week with the flag pole in the middle of the field, how cats get out of character. But still, it's a 15-yard penalty, and it can be detrimental to your team. Now, I don't know what type of fine NFL is going to give him or if there's anything. Jerry wanted to lose that.
What? I don't know what a top 10 pick going to help at this point.
Yeah.
Who you going to pick?
Right. I don't know. They need something. But y'all, that's all I have. Anybody closing comments real quick? Coach D-Wade, what you got?
Oh man, I'm excited as we march into this final 12 NCAA football playoff. Y'all know I'm gonna be watching close. There's gonna be some teams I'm gonna be watching to see if they prove me right or prove me wrong. So I'm excited to see what they do.
All right, the season on the line, being a true competitor. I got you, Big D. J-Dub, what you got? Final words.
But I think I said all my words. I think all my final words are during the podcast. Y'all start switching to basketball. We got some good things going on. We got the college men's, college women's, NBA.
Yeah.
It's all heating up. It's in that part of the season where everybody's starting to show who they are. And man, just another good week. Just another good week.
Shout out to the Purple Bananas to keep it rolling.
Purple Bananas, 5-1. 5-1. We doing our thing up here on the north.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, Professor, what you got for final words?
Final words is Nico Harrison. He was brought in for a reason. Considering where he came from the Nike industry. Hence the word Nike. And the fact that he's with the Dallas Mavericks, he's doing everything that he was asked to do. And he's doing that now. And y'all mentioned Jimmy Butler. Wouldn't surprise me if he pulled that off. He got Clay here, he got Kyrie here to encompass the play or the surrounding play of Luka Doncic, and now Jimmy Butler is available, and he's talking about moving to a winning team. Why do you think Clay is here? Clay is here because he didn't feel wanted and with Golden State anymore. In the Golden State, they pretty much let him walk. One of the first teams he thought about joining was the Dallas Mavericks. He's here now. The reason he's here, he probably presents something they was missing in the finals last year, and that's perimeter play. If the Mavs get back into the playoffs, let alone the finals, that's when I think Jason Kidd will expose his perimeter play to where he plays the way he have always played. And I think that's what the Mavs were missing. We saw that in the finals last year. They needed perimeter play bad, and they were bad in that area. So Nico Harrison is making it happen. Just keep that in mind. Why the Mavs are positioned the way they are is because it's the moves he's making.
Absolutely.
Give him props, man. That's awesome.
So
I like that.
My final thoughts would be Nico Harrison.
Nico Harrison, like that. Big D's giving his final word. Slime Elite. That's his team over there. Jerron said, "Bring on Ohio." If y'all know, Jerron Clayton is a big Tennessee fan, so I'm letting you know, Jerron, and we can go back and forth on this. But Ohio State finna beat.
I'm with you, Jerron. Let's go Rocky Top. Let's go Rocky Top. Get Ohio out the playoffs real
Tennessee's
quick.
going to beat the brakes off Ohio State. I'm telling you.
I
said it.
Did you change it because you said Ohio State was the best team?
We have the right on here to change our mind. So
it's week to week, E. It's week to week.
E, that's you, man. That's you. You coached us up like that.
I end the show like that. This is a FairWeather Fan. Lou already know that we have the right to change our mind any minute. So yeah. So since y'all said it, you know what, Jerron, I apologize. We're going with Tennessee to be
Rocky Top.
Made me get my guitar out and do Rocky Top for everybody.
But Jerron said the same team that lost to Michigan. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's gonna be a good team though, Jerron. I appreciate y'all. Hey, for those of you who are watching right now that are on the FairWeather Fan Podcast, man, please join me and Lou over on Facebook Talk Radio. Once to sign off, we'll go ahead and get that thing started over there. So give us about 5-6 minutes. So we're going to get it started over there. So the conversation continues, man. Let's roll on out, man. That's all I have for the FairWeather Fan Podcast. Thank you, J-Dub. Thank you, D-Way. Thank you, Lewis Medford, a.k.a. the Professor, for joining us over here.
Enjoyed it, man.
Yes, sir. Catch on Facebook Talk Radio, man. And up at it's not top of the hour, a little bit after the hour. So here we go, man. That's all I got. And we are out. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace.